Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Alappuzha Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 12th of November. Indian Prime Minister inaugurates key development projects in northern India. Suicide bomber kills at least 6 near police checkpoint in Afghan capital. And Myanmar government says ready for return of Rohingyas. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated 2 important national highways and an inland waterways terminal on River Ganges in his constituency Varanasi on Monday. The projects are expected to provide employment opportunities and boost tourism and economic development in the area.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated 2 important national highways and an inland waterways terminal on River Ganges in Varanasi city of northern Uttar Pradesh province on Monday. The total length of the 2 highways is nearly 21 miles and will link Varanasi to the airport and go on to Jaunpur, Sultanpur and Lucknow. In a major push to India's inland waterways transportation sector, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also received a large container vessel travelled for the first time on inland waterways in country. The inland water terminal on the River Ganges in Varanasi is the first of the 4 multi-modal terminals being constructed on River Ganges.
आज जल, थल, नभ तीनों को ही जोड़ने वाली नई ऊर्जा का संचार इस क्षेत्र में हुआ है। साथियों, अब से कुछ देर पहले मैंने नदी मार्ग से पहुंचे देश के पहले कंटेनर वेसल का स्वागत किया।
The development projects are expected to provide a big relief to the people of Varanasi and to tourists and other visitors to the city. They will also provide employment opportunities, boost development of small and medium industries and give a boost to economic development in the areas.
Security forces gunned down a terrorist in an encounter in Handwara town of India's Jammu and Kashmir province on Sunday. The slain terrorist was identified as a member of Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group.
A terrorist was gunned down by security forces in an encounter in Handwara town of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Sunday. Officials said the encounter broke out after terrorists attacked a police post in Handwara. The police forces retaliated, during which 1 terrorist was killed. The slain terrorist was identified as Ishtiaq, a member of Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group. Arms and ammunition were also recovered from his possession.
करने के लिए इशारा किया रोकने के लिए, तो उसके अंदर से 2 बंदे निकल करके और साथ में ही वहाँ जो बाईपास पर दुकान थी उसके अंदर एंटर किए। उनकी हरकत थोड़ी सस्पिशियस लगी थी। उनको चैलेंज करने पर इमीडिएटली पिस्टल से हमारी पार्टी के ऊपर फायर आया और ग्रेनेड लॉक किया गया। जवाबी कार्रवाई में 1 मिलिटेंट मारा गया।
This came a day after 2 terrorists belonging to Pakistan-based Hizbul Mujahideen terror group were killed in an encounter in Pulwama district of the province. India accuses Pakistan of arming and infiltrating terrorists across the border to mount attacks on Indian soil. Pakistan denies the allegations.
In news from Afghanistan, at least 6 people were killed after a suicide bomber blew himself up in Afghan capital Kabul, the Interior Ministry said on Monday. 10 policemen and civilians, including women, were also injured in the blast. The attacker detonated his suicide vest close to a checkpoint near a school in central Kabul, which is in the same area as the Finance and Justice Ministries and close to the presidential palace. The attack came as hundreds of demonstrators gathered in the city to protest against the government's failure to prevent attacks by Taliban militants in Ghazni and Herat provinces. No militant group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack. And more news from Afghanistan. A Taliban splinter faction on Sunday said Moscow meeting on Afghanistan's peace was a lie. The remark by the group came 2 days after a meeting in Moscow took place where representatives of the Taliban and envoys from 11 countries, including the United States, exchanged views on the prospects of peace in Afghanistan.
A splinter faction of the Taliban led by Mullah Abdul Manan Niazi on Sunday said the recent Moscow meeting on peace in Afghanistan was a lie. This came 2 days after a meeting in Moscow where representatives of the Taliban and envoys from 11 countries, including the US, exchanged views on the prospects of peace in Afghanistan. A delegation from Afghanistan's High Peace Council or HPC also attended the meeting. Meanwhile, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani met US Special Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad on Saturday and was briefed on the envoy's schedule over the next week, which will see him visit a number of countries in the region. Ghani thanked Khalilzad for the work he is doing to bring about peace and discussed issues around his second trip to the region.
An annual robotics exhibition was recently organized in Afghan capital Kabul city, wherein the students hailing from a local robotic house displayed the robots developed by them.
An annual robotics exhibition was recently organized in Afghan capital Kabul, in which students of a local robotic house displayed the robots developed by them. The exhibition under the theme Creation at a Glance was organized by Afghanistan Robotic House. The event aimed at providing a platform to the students to display their work and learn new advancements in the field of robotics science.
در نمایشگاه امسال خوشبختانه دستاوردهای خوبی داشتیم، نمونه‌هایی از سازه‌های رباتیکی بچه‌ها و نمونه و فعالیت‌هایی از یوسیمس شاگرد.
ماشین حساب تیزتر میتونیم حل کنیم و یک محاسبه ذهنی است که ذهن میتونه بالا ببره.
During the exhibition, the students worked on models to help solve brain games. They said some of the robots have the ability to identify injured persons, can carry loads of goods at airports, and can carry soil and play games similar to football. A 33-member group of students of the robotic house would go to Indonesia to take part in an international robotic competition in the near future.
Moving on to news from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and 44 former lawmakers on Sunday defected from the party led by President Maithripala Sirisena, splitting with the president barely 2 weeks after he installed Rajapaksa in office. This came after President Sirisena dissolved parliament on Friday night and called a general election for January 5th.
Sri Lanka's new Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and 44 former lawmakers have defected from the party led by President Maithripala Sirisena, splitting with the president barely 2 weeks after he installed Rajapaksa in office. This came after President Sirisena dissolved parliament on Friday night and called a general election for January 5th in a move that has drawn international criticism, as it is likely to deepen the country's political crisis. Rajapaksa and 44 lawmakers of the Sirisena-led centre-left Sri Lanka Freedom Party on Sunday joined Sri Lanka Podu Jana Perimuna or SLPP, a political party formed in 2016 by Rajapaksa's younger brother Basil, a former economy minister. Many Colombo residents said an election was the only way to help put an end to the political crisis, which started after the president sacked the elected Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and replaced him with pro-China leader Mahinda Rajapaksa. Wickremesinghe has refused to vacate the official Prime Minister's residence, saying he is the Prime Minister with parliamentary majority. The dissolution is likely to be challenged in court and further deepen the political turmoil.
Top officials in Myanmar government on Sunday said the country is ready to start repatriating Rohingya refugees from Bangladesh this month. This comes after both the countries had agreed last month to begin the repatriation process by mid-November.
Myanmar government officials on Sunday said the country is ready to start repatriating Rohingya refugees from Bangladesh this month. Myanmar's Vice Minister of Home Affairs, Major General Aung Thu, said local security forces were prepared to verify the people coming back to Rakhine province and would take action against those with likelihood of terrorist connections. This comes after Bangladesh and Myanmar had agreed last month to begin repatriation of Rohingyas to Myanmar by mid-November.
Mid-November mid-November so 15 ရက်နေ့ပေါ့တိုးတော့လေအဲ့ဒီ15ရက်နေ့မှာဖြစ်မယ်ဆိုတာတော့ဒီတစ်ဖက်နိုင်ငံရဲ့တုံ့ပြန်မှုပုံမှာမူတည်တယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘက်ကတော့ဘာပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်အစင်းလေးဖြစ်ရမယ်တကယ်လဲလှုပ်ထားပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာဒီလိုမှတကယ်လို့ဒီထဲမှာအကျဉ်းပတ်သမားပါလာမယ်ဆိုလဲကျွန်တော်တို့အကျဉ်းပတ်သမားစစ်စစ်ဖို့တွေကိုကျွန်တော်တို့သက်ဆိုင်ရာသတင်းတပ်ဖွဲ့မှုရင်းတပ်ဖွဲ့နဲ့ဒီနေ့ရဲတပ်ဖွဲ့တွေနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့တာဝန်ချထားပြီးဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဒါတွေကကျွန်တော်တို့ရောက်လာရင်လဲကျွန်တော်တို့အရေးယူသွားမယ်အနေဒါဖြစ်ပါတယ်
More than 700,000 Rohingya refugees crossed into Bangladesh from western Myanmar after Rohingya insurgent attacks on Myanmar security forces in August 2017 triggered a sweeping military response. The United Nations Refugee Agency has already said that conditions in Rakhine province were not yet conducive for their return and urged Bangladesh to drop plans to repatriate Rohingya refugees as they would face a higher risk of persecution.
A famous snake boat race attracted thousands of tourists to India's southern Kerala province over the past weekend. The annual boat race, which is conducted in August, had been postponed this year due to the deadly floods in the province.
Thumping paddles, rhythmic movements and a lot of adrenaline rush marked the famous snake boat race in the backwaters of India's southern Kerala province on Sunday. The 66 Nehru Trophy boat race, popularly known as Vallam Kali or boat game, began on Saturday and attracted large crowds, including local residents as well as tourists from across the globe. As many as 81 paddled war canoes took part in the race, which was postponed in August due to devastating floods in the region.
We've always wanted to see the boat race and we got a chance to see it because it got postponed from August, and I have not seen such an atmosphere anywhere around, and this is so exciting. I'm here with my family and we are all excited.
Oh, it was fantastic. It's really good. I didn't actually know it was taking place until I arrived yesterday, so I'm so grateful to be here and to experience it. It's totally amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
The different kind of snake boat races date back to the 13th century when they were first commissioned as war boats. However, the Nehru Trophy race began from the year 1952. A traditional boat song in local Malayalam language, which is also centuries old, is also an integral part of the race and is performed by participants for its significance in the rituals.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Prime Minister inaugurates key development projects in northern India. Suicide bomber kills at least 6 near police checkpoint in Afghan capital. And Myanmar government says they're ready for return of Rohingyas. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.